Once upon a time, in a bustling airport, a beautiful woman hurried through the terminal. Her heels clicked against the polished floor as she glanced at her watch, realizing she was running late for her flight. She was the last passenger to board, and the gate agents were already closing the doors. Breathless, she rushed onto the plane, her designer bag swinging at her side. The flight attendants greeted her politely, but she barely acknowledged them, focused only on finding her seat. As she settled into her spot, she noticed the passenger sitting next to her, a man who had no arms. His presence immediately made her uncomfortable. She frowned, her expression shifting from annoyance to anger. How could she be expected to sit next to someone like him for the entire flight? She waved over the air hostess, her voice sharp and demanding. "Excuse me," she said, her tone dripping with disdain. "What is this? I can't travel like this. I need to be moved to another seat." The air hostess, taken aback by the woman's harsh words, tried to remain calm. "Ma'am, I understand your concern, but the flight is fully booked. Please try to be patient. We'll do our best to make your journey comfortable." But the woman wasn't having it. "No," she snapped. "This is unacceptable. I can't sit here. Do something about it." The air hostess hesitated, surprised that someone who looked so elegant and polished could speak so unkindly. She took a deep breath and said, "Ma'am, every passenger is important to us. Let me speak to the captain and see what we can do." The woman crossed her arms, clearly annoyed, but she nodded. As the air hostess walked away, the woman muttered under her breath, "Finally, someone who's going to listen to me." A few minutes later, the air hostess returned. She approached the woman with a calm smile. "Ma'am, the captain has made an extraordinary decision. For the first time in our airline's history, we're going to move a passenger from economy class to business class. We want to ensure everyone has a comfortable journey." The woman's face lit up with relief. "Finally," she said, a smug smile spreading across her face. "I knew you'd fix this." But the air hostess wasn't finished. She turned to the man sitting next to the woman, the man without arms, and said, "Sir, would you please come with me? We're moving you to business class. We don't want you to travel next to someone who doesn't understand the value of humanity." The cabin fell silent. Then, slowly, the other passengers began to clap. The sound grew louder, filling the plane with a wave of approval and support. The man stood up, his eyes glistening with emotion. He looked around at the passengers and said, "Thank you. I lost both my arms in a war, fighting for my country." When I heard this lady's words, I thought to myself, is this what we fought for? Are these the people we risked our lives to protect? But your kindness, your applause, and this gesture remind me that not everyone is like her. There are still good people in this world. The woman sat frozen in her seat, her face flushed with shame. She had been so focused on her own comfort, her own appearance, that she had forgotten what truly mattered: kindness, empathy, and respect for others. As the man walked to business class, the air hostess turned to the woman and said softly, "Ma'am, beauty isn't about how you look, it's about how you treat others. I hope this flight gives you a chance to reflect on that." The woman didn't respond. She stared out the window, her mind racing. For the first time, she realized that her outward beauty meant nothing if her character was ugly. She had been so consumed by her own image, her own prejudices, that she had failed to see the humanity in the person sitting next to her. The flight continued, but the atmosphere had changed. The passengers chatted warmly, sharing stories and smiles. The woman remained quiet, lost in thought. By the time the plane landed, she had made a silent promise to herself. She would strive to be better, to see people for who they were, not how they looked. This story teaches us two important lessons. First, true beauty lies in our character, not in our appearance. A kind heart and a compassionate soul are far more valuable than any outward perfection. Second, we must never judge others based on their circumstances. Everyone has a story, a struggle, and a reason for who they are. When we choose empathy over judgment, we create a world where everyone feels valued and respected. So, the next time you find yourself quick to judge, remember this story. Ask yourself, am I seeing the person, or am I seeing their circumstances? Am I choosing kindness, or am I letting my biases cloud my humanity? Because in the end, it's not about how you look, it's about how you make others feel. Thanks for watching.